The Rock releases footage of him attacking and cursing at a bloodied Cody Rhodes after Monday Night Raw went off the air this past Monday on USA Network. We've got the footage of that, but also a big conversation has been brought up about his new nickname of the Final Boss. Who used it first in professional wrestling? Because AEW have highlighted a member of their roster now using that term as well. And previously, other people have used it, not only in AEW, but also in WWE. We'll look into that. Kenny Omega reportedly is more than likely to be forced to undergo surgery as he continues to battle diverticulitis. Drew McIntyre reacts after receiving a copy of Becky Lynch's book in the post. Dustin Rhodes teases an involvement in Cody Rhodes' storyline at WrestleMania 40. Several more matches are scheduled to be announced for the event on the grandest stage of them all as well. And Matt Hardy says he's received a new contract offer from AEW. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about the final boss himself, The Rock, who has a bit of a Friday tradition, doesn't he, of releasing a social media promo or post related to his current run in the WWE. And today is no different because The Rock has shared a video revealing what happened between him and Cody Rhodes after Monday's March 25 edition of Raw went off the air. After confronting the American Nightmare during Monday's show, The Rock attacked Cody Rhodes in the closing moments of the episode. The show went off the air with the final boss standing over a battered and bloody Cody Rhodes in the rain in the parking lot in Chicago, Illinois. The Rock has now taken to Instagram to share a video showing that the beatdown continued after the live broadcast ended. Now, in the video, which we'll get to in just a second, The Rock continues to whip Rhodes with a weight belt while shouting at all of the producers and camera people. He also then posted the following caption as well, which again was very interesting to say the least. It was quite a lengthy one. He said, quote, "I hate constraints and bullshit rules, and just because some WWE producer says clear, meaning we are no longer live on the air and the show is over, that doesn't mean I just stop whatever I'm doing and tell everyone great job. It effing pissed me off. I can't shut my emotions off just because a script says we're done. But this is a microcosm of a larger issue I have with individuals, corporations, and governments, telling us what we can or can't do. You have to do it this way, you have to say it that way, or you'll get cancelled. They create fear if you have a different perspective and don't live by their rules. It's their way or no way. F that. I say it the way I want to say it. I do it the way I want to do it. My choice, our choice, final boss." Now, as I mentioned, it came with this video. Look at what happened with The Rock and Rhodes once the show went off the air on Monday.
Clear, now you stay down. Fuck that.
Clear, guys.
Fuck that. You shut your mouth. Clear my ass. How did that feel? Did that feel good? What, just because the show's over, that doesn't mean that this shit stops. The Rock doesn't give a fuck. Huh? You should cry. You should cry, boy. Look at that blood. Now, look at this blood. Yes, yes. What? Show is over and then it stops? Fuck that. Your script? Fuck that. God. This is what happens, boy, when you fuck with the final. Come in here, cameraman. Look at that face. Look at that. Huh? Now, Mama Rose. Mama Rose. This is for you. That's for you. I'll see you at WrestleMania. Fuck him.
So what are your thoughts on that attack once the show went off the air? What are your thoughts on The Rock's language? What are your thoughts on all of it? Let me know your reaction in the comments section below about that. Now, we did see in that segment, of course, The Rock making Cody Rhodes bleed. He lived up to his word when he said, "Tonight, I will make you bleed," to Rhodes in the middle of the ring during the opening segment of Raw. And as I mentioned, blood featured in the attack on Rhodes by The Rock on this week's Raw, but it's not going to, according to reports anyway, become a regular feature of WWE television. The attack, which took place in the parking lot, as I mentioned, which we just saw just then, revealed that The Rock had said, "Tonight I'm going to make you bleed," to Rhodes at the beginning of the show on Monday. Addressing the appearance of blood on WWE programming in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer stated, quote, "With blood, the key is that this is no longer Vince McMahon's company. We were told that going forward, it will be used very rarely. There are no plans to turn it into AEW, where it's used more liberally. There is, however, an exception to the rule, with former WWE champion The Rock being able to use it where he feels," as Meltzer notes, quote, "But if Johnson wants it in his angle, he's like Lesnar in the Vince administration and has more power than Lesnar had then, and he's going to be able to do what he wants in his angles and matches," end quote. Of course, what Meltzer is referring to here is that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson joined the TKO Board of Directors on January 23rd, 2024, and also gained full ownership of the Rock trademark and many others related to his various catchphrases and nicknames as well. Now, of course, The Rock in this new heel run in WWE has been going by the moniker The Final Boss, but interestingly today, AEW actually referred to their AEW World Champion, that being Samoa Joe, as the Final Boss. This is certainly very interesting stuff, and it's opened up a wider conversation on social media about this, because AEW has now advertised some intriguing merchandise for Samoa Joe, highlighting a nickname which has recently been electrifying wrestling fans. Now, as you can see right here on the screen, just there, the shopaew.com Twitter account shared a graphic advertising an interesting Samoa Joe t-shirt, which featured a couple of nicknames for the star. The shirt references Joe as both the main event and also the final boss. Now, AEW seems to have a favourite moniker out of the two, choosing to highlight Joe as the final boss when sharing this merchandise. The tweet actually said right there, "The Final Boss. Check out this Samoa Joe shirt that's available for purchase at shopaew.com." As I mentioned, interestingly, the Final Boss is notably the new nickname The Rock has been using during his ongoing WWE Return storyline. But what gets really interesting about this, as I mentioned, it opened up the conversation of who used this term first, because of course this has got people talking today that AEW has been copying WWE and copying The Rock. However, this shirt was actually first highlighted by AEW back in January, on January 17, 2024. You can see the tweet right there saying, quote, "The Final Boss, check out this Samoa Joe shirt that just arrived at shopaew.com. This was before The Rock started to refer to himself as the Final Boss on WWE television. But it continues. Actually, AEW has used this phrase before on one of their shirts. For Miro, all the way back on July 12, 2021, this tweet was posted. Again, this is close to 3 years ago now, saying, "Miro is an unstoppable force. Get your Final Boss shirt today at shopaew.com. In addition to that, Abaddon has referred to herself as the Final Boss, posting this on August 5th, 2020, saying, quote, "I am the Final Boss." Now, actually, one person that many people really closely associate to the term the Final Boss is former NXT UK Women's Champion, that being Meiko Satomura. In fact, if you go to her bio on the WWE.com roster page, on her wrestler profile, superstar profile, it says the following. It says, quote, "Meet the Final Boss, Meiko Satomura." It then gives a full rundown of her history in WWE, and this was a nickname she used even prior to coming into WWE, as well, as can be seen by this article here, saying Meiko Satomura, the woman known as the Final Boss. This was published on August 25 in 2022. So obviously you can see that several people in pro wrestling have used this moniker over the years. So what are your thoughts with AEW's post today? Is that in reference to The Rock? Is it just a case of they've been doing this for the Samoa Joe shirt since the beginning of the year? And in fact, it's quite a common phrase, quite a common nickname in professional wrestling. What's your reaction to it? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, a bit of an update when it comes to Kenny Omega and his future and recovery timeline in All Elite Wrestling. Now, Kenny Omega, of course, took to social media to share a photo of himself in a hospital bed on December 15, 2023, noting that he'd be out of action indefinitely. It was later confirmed that the AEW Executive Vice President had been suffering from diverticulitis, with Matthew and Nicholas Jackson bringing Omega's former rival Kazuchika Okada into the Elite and firing Omega from the faction. It has been heavily speculated that Kenny Omega's return feud will be against the Japanese star. Per Dave Meltzer in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it appears that Kenny Omega will need to undergo surgery on his intestines, a surgery Omega was previously waiting to find out whether he needed or not. Now, noting that an official decision hasn't been made at the time of recording, Meltzer noted the following, quote, "While no decision has been made, it looks more likely than not that Kenny Omega will be getting surgery on his intestines. He's had his ups and downs, but has largely been dealing with a good amount of pain for months now. He said surgery is becoming more and more likely as 2 different doctors have told him they think it's the best option. It's not 100% that he will have to have surgery, but it's looking more than likely, particularly if he wants to get into condition to resume his career, that he will probably have to get rid of the perforated sections of his intestine and colon." Now, Omega previously noted that he does feel he has a responsibility to actually return to the ring rather than retiring due to his condition. So, of course, we wish Kenny Omega the best. Hopefully, he can recover. And, of course, we get any more details on his recovery, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, Drew McIntyre, he's continuing his feud with Seth Rollins as we get closer to WrestleMania and their World Heavyweight Championship match. And Drew McIntyre has taunted Seth Rollins following Becky Lynch sending him a copy of her book. With McIntyre set to challenge Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, the Scottish Warrior has been using social media to fire shots at the champion ahead of their bout. McIntyre has now taken to Twitter to reveal that Becky Lynch sent him a copy of her new book, Becky Lynch the Man, Not Your Average Girl. Sharing a photo of a note that came with the book, McIntyre tweeted, quote, "Every time I open this app, Seth has took another L. If only he lived with someone who could help him with his replies." As was announced during their segment on Raw this past week, CM Punk will be on commentary as a guest for the McIntyre vs. Rollins World Heavyweight Championship bout at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Of course, CM Punk has issues with both stars following previous confrontations with Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Of course, McIntyre was the person who injured him in the men's Royal Rumble match back in January and then also attacked his injured arm on the January 29 edition of Raw. Rollins, meanwhile, is slated to compete in 2 matches at WrestleMania. Ahead of his title defense on Night 2, Rollins will team with Cody Rhodes to face off against The Rock and Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania Saturday. Now, when it comes to WrestleMania, many people have been wondering how many more matches are going to be revealed for the card for the 2-night event. With WrestleMania 40 now just over a week away, there are 10 matches set for the show across both nights, with several other matches seeming likely for the show. In an update from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there are currently 3 more matches set to be announced for the show, with one night featuring 7 matches, while the other night is set to feature 6. Dave Meltzer wrote, quote, "With 10 matches, that means we still have a few matches to be added. Right now, there are 3 to be added, with 13 as the current total, with 7 on one night, 6 on the other, the most recent plan. Because of that, the 7 p.m. start, the story is that every match will have ample time to get the best, to be the best it can, be, as it's laid out on paper. In addition, all 3 matches are believed to be coming from the SmackDown side, with a match involving the members of Damage Control among them, though the Women's Tag Team Championship will not be on the line at the event." They said, quote, "All 3 new matches are said to be from the SmackDown side. There is right now no Women's Tag Team title match planned, but there is something with Damage Control." So that is the latest when it comes to matches set for the show. Now, Dustin Rhodes, he's teased a possible involvement at WrestleMania, which could be quite surprising considering he's under contract to All Elite Wrestling. WWE superstar Cody Rhodes has got the world behind him as he attempts to finish the story for the 2nd year in a row. After winning the men's Royal Rumble match, Rhodes will take on Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 40, despite initially giving his match up to The Rock. Fans lashed out at WWE for making Rhodes move over for the Great One, who has since sided with the Bloodline and vowed to make sure Rhodes won't be walking out of WrestleMania as champion. While Rhodes has a few different allies in WWE, such as Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, there are people outside of the company that have also been keeping a close eye on things, namely his older brother Dustin Rhodes. Due to the fact that Dustin is currently signed to AEW, it's highly unlikely he'll be able to make an appearance at WrestleMania 40. However, when a fan on X told Dustin that he wished he was in WWE to help out his little brother, he said, quote, "I'm here for it more than you know." To put it mildly, WWE and AEW have been reluctant when it comes to working together, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. In 2021, former AEW World Champion Chris Jericho was a guest on Stone Cold Steve Austin's The Broken Skull Sessions, with the two men openly talking about Jericho's time in AEW on a show streaming on the WWE Network. AEW has also allowed some of their stars to appear on WWE television in other capacities, with Bryan Danielson, Paul White, and Chris Jericho once again appearing via video message on an episode of Raw in 2022 to celebrate 20 years of John Cena in WWE. So, do you think it's possible? Let me know your thoughts about that as well. And finally, Matt Hardy has provided an update on his current situation with AEW, with rumours that his contract is set to expire at the end of this month. Matt Hardy has provided a big update on his contract negotiations with AEW, amid some speculation he could leave the company and maybe even return to WWE. As previously confirmed by Matt Hardy, the former WWE superstar's current contract with AEW is set to expire at the end of March. Rumours about Hardy potentially leaving AEW to rejoin WWE were fueled recently when Hardy attended the March 18 edition of Monday Night Raw. Speaking on his Extreme Life podcast, Hardy revealed that he has actually been offered a multi-year deal by AEW. Noting that he still has other options and is currently deciding what he wants to do, Hardy said, quote, "There is a little news to go along with my contract negotiations. I have an AEW contract sitting in front of me for a few years, and I'm looking through it, deciding what I want to do going forward. There's obviously still some options. I got to make sure that I'm aware of the ins and outs of the contract, and I want to make sure everything is up to par as for what I want it to be. Because once again, as I say pretty often, I know I only have a couple more years left doing this, and I want to make the most out of those years, whatever it may be. I want to be optimized in whatever I'm doing, so that's very important to me. I'm very happy to be invited to return to AEW and work for AEW for the foreseeable future. But we shall see, because right now I'm just going to be weighing out the options. There's a couple of things out there, and I would say in the next month I should probably know what my immediate future is. Now, explaining what he's looking for in his next deal, regardless of which company he signs with, Hardy noted, quote, "Once again, just legacy is very important to me. Knowing there's only a couple of years left doing this, schedule is very important to me because I want to spend as much time as I can with my family. That is very important. And once again, if I'm working with Jeff, it is very important to me that the Hardys are optimized. It's very important that the Hardys, they go out on a strong note. That's what's important to me." So where do you think Matt Hardy is going to land? Let me know your predictions about that as well. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you again very soon.